Hey guys, this is Christy Matthews broadcasting from Oakley, California. Hope you're having a great day. So, little different video today. We're getting close to the new year, and I know that a lot of people are looking at making their new year resolutions. So, it's a time for making some good changes, lifelong changes. And last year, I started down that pathway myself to make some changes for things that had got out of hand for me, which was primarily my health and my weight. Um, Without going into a lot of details, some things really got going for me back in 2004 when my appendix ruptured and it was misdiagnosed, and I got really, really sick, and it led to a lot of other things, and then had an injury in 2007. So there were some things that just happened that were out of my control. And as much as I was struggling to take care of my health was deteriorating. So what resulted is that I had 4 surgeries. I ended up developing full-blown case of fibromyalgia. I had major, major stress issues, and I was on all kinds of medications. And if you look at my medicine, my pantry, there are a ton of medications in there that we need to go through and dispose of that haven't been taken in a long time, and many that I'm happy to say I will never ever have to take again. There were some that I'd taken over that period of time that allowed me to gain over 45 pounds. And it was without trying. It just, as soon as I started taking the medication, I started getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And every time that there was a medication change, there was some incremental weight gain. And it also changed my body chemistry as well. And I had major salt and sugar cravings. So fast forward to 2016, and I had been looking for an answer. Back in the day, I've always been attracted to low carb dieting. It has worked well for me, but I didn't really subscribe to it to 100% because my exposure to low carb dieting was Dr. Atkins and Suzanne Summers. And both of those methods worked for me, but I thought that there was a component that was a little bit unhealthy, such as eating a lot of meat. And I always thought that meat could be somewhat toxic, especially for, what our animals eat. And then, I went to the other extreme. I went to vegan, and that didn't work as well. I still had the salt and sugar cravings, and those were really what the issues were. So, when the teacher is ready, when the student is ready to learn, the teacher appears. And it was really weird how this happened for me. And I was reading a news feed of somebody else's. They made a comment that says, "Hey, can somebody help me out? I just went to the doctor and I was diagnosed as a diabetic, and I can no longer eat watermelon in the morning. I love watermelon. What other fruits can I eat?" And interesting, there were, like, I don't know, a couple hundred responses that were not the type of food to replace. It was Dr. Eric Berg or Dr. Jason Fung. And I go, wow, how funny that is. So I started doing some research and I decided to follow one of them. And here it is, and that was on March 6th of 2016. So it was actually a couple of months of reviewing and kind of getting, the education, re, you know, re, revisiting some of the things I've already done in the past, and got some real major aha moments out of all of that. And what was really cool is that I got to learn the science behind things. So I got the social proof of what I was doing. And so I said, okay, this is what I got to do, because I had just hit a weight to where I was, beyond when I was pregnant, some 34 years ago. And that was very troubling for me. And I was on medications that I didn't want to be on. and I just felt like my health was out of control. So what did I start doing? I went on a ketogenic diet and I went full blown, followed the instructions to the T, continued to educate myself, and within 3 months, I got off 4 medications. I still take two. One is thyroid and one is a stress medication, okay? For anxiety. It's just something I've had since I was a little kid, and I'm hoping that one day I'll be able to get off of that as well. But I'm pretty much down to the last two that I probably would be okay taking forever. But here's the really cool thing, you guys, is that my blood work had improved tremendously. My cholesterol dropped 50 points. My thyroid improved. My blood sugar dropped. And I wasn't pre-diabetic, but my A1C was, something I kept an eye on because I knew as I got older and I didn't change my habits, I might have ended up being pre-diabetic. So things just went the other way, but yet I was eating 3 fried eggs a day in coconut oil and bacon and a whole bunch of stuff that I really enjoyed. And I also was able to heal my liver because along this process of having, damage from a ruptured appendix and the infection that ensued and the scar tissue, the multiple surgeries, I had developed a fatty liver. And what had happened through this process is that my liver healed. And what started to happen is that my fibromyalgia symptoms started to improve too. Now, I'm not going to say it's completely gone, but I'm going to say it's in probably a form of remission. My body was so damaged in a way that if I still go out and push myself way too hard, I will have a relapse. But I'm at a point today to where I've got to say, and I just want to say to people out there who are struggling with things, is that your diet has a lot to do with your health, especially when you have some sort of ailment that your doctor cannot diagnose. Because what I've learned about the medical system is that things are pretty cut and dry, black and white. There's a test for this, a non-test for that. And also a lot of tests are based on small groups of people. So in other words, for you to have like adrenal fatigue in a medical doctor world, you must be within a group of people that is 20% of the entire population, not the 80% who might be struggling with adrenal type of symptoms. And that was really revealing for me because I had been to health practitioners, one that's on here, Jana, thank you so much, who had told me I was struggling with adrenal fatigue and also told me that it would not show up in a blood test, and I never understood that. But now I do, and I can say that that is so true. So when you are having weird like health symptoms and your doctor has eliminated all of these things and gave you a quote unquote garbage diagnosis, like I like to call fibromyalgia, it's not that it's a garbage diagnosis, but it's kind of like a garbage can diagnosis. It's like the doctors throw, well, it's not adrenal fatigue, so it's in the garbage. You don't have, let's say MS, in the garbage. You don't have chronic fatigue, in the garbage. But it's under an umbrella of things to where you do have that symptomatology. And dementia is like a garbage can diagnosis as well. They call them an umbrella diagnosis where there's subcategories under that umbrella. So fibromyalgia is that way. So I don't ever want to take away the significance of fibromyalgia because it is a proven diagnosis. They just don't know how to find it on a test. They can press on your body, and if you've got same symptoms on one side of your body and you have them on the other, and you have like 11 out of 18 points, you probably have fibromyalgia. Okay, so as I digress. So the point of it is here is that if you are struggling with ailments that are going on in your body, you may have viruses that got activated, that viruses that you had when you were a child that will never go away. It's like having chicken pox and how you can get shingles as an older person because you had chicken pox as a kid. These viruses go dormant because we grow, resistance to them. Our white cells, those killer cells, well, not the killer cells, but the white blood cells that kill infection, they keep those viruses and things in check, but they're there in our body. And when you have like fibromyalgia and chronic fatigue syndromes and things like that, those viruses can come alive, and under major stress and trauma, those things can come out, and next thing you know, you've heard of fibro flu, fibro fog, all of these types of things. So, how does the ketogenic diet keep those things intact? Well, for me, the ketogenic diet was the emphasis to making other changes in my life. So I worked on over 40 things that got me to a point to where I was able to get my fibromyalgia under control to where it is, to where I'm saying I thrive with fibromyalgia, although I know it's there in the background. And it has everything to do with the diet that I've been on. And there's some things that I also want to tell you about. I've lost over 50 pounds and didn't even try. I ate my way through it. I have no salt and sugar cravings. I've just been baking for the last, week and a half or so. Haven't had one inkling of wanting to taste anything that I've baked for others. I almost feel guilty that I'm, giving this poison away to everybody because I call salt and sugar, well, sugar and salt cravings, kind of poison to other people. But, if you don't have those problems, it's not an issue for you. Off 4 medications and having my fibromyalgia in some sort of form of, I'm going to call it a form of remission, but a form of tolerance for me. So, and now I'm starting my next chapter. My next year is coming up, and I'm looking so forward to hitting my overall ultimate weight loss goal. I'm only about 13 pounds away, and being able to incorporate more exercise into my diet. I've always been someone who's loved physical activity, sports, exercise, that type of thing, and I haven't been able to do that for a long time. So I'm looking forward to getting back into my yoga routine and just some of the other things that I like to do. Hopefully I could start bike riding this year. So folks, I just want you to consider making some changes for yourself. I don't know what the answer is for you, but for me, I just listened to somebody else's message, and ironically, they didn't take the message. They ended up having this person who I was on their news feed, this is the ironic thing, never took the advice that was given to them. They ended up losing their gallbladder. They ended up having some other surgeries that could have actually been corrected with this pathway that I chose. But, I just take that news feed that I got this information from as a little angel looking out for me, who gave me that message because they knew I was ready to get it. So folks, I hope that this video helps you out. And I'm using YouTube because I have found out, and I've just learned, that Facebook is not allowing me to download my videos anymore. Shame on them. So I'm going to go over my friend on YouTube here, and I'm going to go ahead and upload them from there. So I hope that you have a great day. I hope that what I shared with you helps you out. And if you'd like to have some tips on what I'm doing, hey, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nurse or a health coach or anything like that. I'm just Christy's coach. I'm just doing what I'm doing for me, what's worked for me, and I'm glad to share that with you. So if you'd like to get some of those tips, just reach out to me, send me a message, and I'll be glad to chat with you. So you have a great day, and I'll chat with you next time. Bye now.